Welcome to CinePro. Where we bring your favorite movies back to life with quick recaps, hidden details, and everything you missed. The movie Jason X begins with the legendary serial killer known as Jason was caught by the United States government and placed in a research facility. Since he couldn't be killed, the scientists planned to freeze him. One of the guards was nervous about Jason's stare, so he shoved him and pressed his head down. At that moment, Dr. Rowan was arguing with her boss, who decided instead of freezing Jason, to send him to a lab to study his cell regeneration abilities and make a lot of money from him. Rowan thought this was a terrible idea since it would allow Jason to continue killing, but her boss completely ignored her. After a while, the head scientist and a group of soldiers entered the room where Jason was supposed to be. When they removed the cover, they found the guard's corpse chained up instead. At that moment, Jason emerged from hiding and began killing everyone in the room mercilessly. Rowan was waiting outside and screamed when a soldier was thrown through the door. Jason appeared behind her, so Rowan grabbed the soldier's rifle, ran to the lab, and hid, waiting for him. As soon as he entered, she shoved furniture at him and started shooting until she pushed him into the freezing capsule. She quickly locked him in and activated the machine. As Jason was freezing, he managed to stab his machete into the door and hit it, causing a malfunction in the machine. The facility activated containment protocol, and coolant liquid spread everywhere. Rowan was also frozen. 400 years later, Earth had become a wasteland after the end of the world, so polluted that no one could live on it. Humanity migrated to a new planet called Earth 2. One day, Dr. Lowe and his team of university students visited Earth on an exploration trip. They entered the facility, opened the capsule, and found Jason frozen inside. They also found Rowan lying on the ground, perfectly preserved. The team immediately decided to take both bodies to their ship. As they tried to move Jason, he fell, and his machete cut off the arm of a student named Azrael. Luckily, the robot KM-14 gave him an injection to temporarily ease the pain. The group carried the bodies through a sandstorm and returned to the ship, which took off immediately and returned to the main vessel. Azrael was put into a healing pod, and nanotechnology restored his arm in minutes. Rowan and Jason were transferred to different labs to be revived, but first they ran some tests. While examining the scans, the group was surprised at how Jason could function with such a small brain. Nanotechnology healed Rowan's wound in one lab, while Adrian took Jason to another to take a sample from his brain. When Rowan was fully healed, she woke up terrified and slapped Lowe, who explained the situation to her. Rowan calmed down, but was shocked to learn she was now in the future. Later, Professor Lowe went to his office to contact the Solaris research station and sent files about Rowan and Jason, hoping to make some money off the situation. Reviving a person frozen for 400 years was no longer a novelty, so Rowan was not considered interesting. But Jason was still a notorious killer, even in the future, and Lowe agreed to sell him for people to watch. After closing up, a student came to Lowe to negotiate a good grade. Meanwhile, Adrian removed Jason's mask and realized how disfigured his face was, so she quickly put the mask back and focused on studying the sample. Behind her, Jason began moving as he thawed. In another room, Tsunaran was trying to modify KM-14 to make her look more realistic, but it was a bit difficult. At that moment, the sounds of chaos on the ship woke Jason. When Adrian turned around, she didn't find him on the table. Suddenly, Jason appeared behind her, grabbed her face, and threw her through a glass wall. Adrian screamed to alert Juan, but he didn't hear her. Jason then dragged her by the hair, dunked her face into nitrogen, froze her head, and smashed it on the table, killing her. He then took a machete from the operating table and went to look for another victim. Meanwhile, Lowe brought food to Rowan and pretended not to know who Jason was, so she told him all the details about how Jason couldn't die. Later, Lowe introduced Rowan to some of his students. She was impressed by some of the experiments, especially KM-14. Then Wayland appeared with Jason's old machete. Rowan was terrified and realized they had brought Jason on board. Lowe swore Jason was dead, but Rowan was suspicious and demanded proof. They went to Lab 2 and found Adrian's corpse. Immediately, Chief of Security Brody declared a quarantine over the loudspeakers and ordered everyone to hide in Lab 1. In one of the rooms, a group of students was preparing to leave, but Jason appeared at the door and killed the boy instantly, splattering blood on Kinsa's face. She screamed loudly, and Jason dragged the body away. Kinsa ran to find the others and tell them what happened. Brody went crazy and ordered his soldiers to destroy Jason as soon as they saw him. Lowe didn't like that and asked Brody to just sedate Jason. offering him a lot of money as a bribe. Brody agreed just to get rid of him, but warned his team to still kill Jason immediately if they saw him. Soldier Dallas cautiously entered a dark room and was suddenly attacked by a huge monster. He fired quickly and knocked it down. When another monster appeared behind him, Dallas didn't react fast enough, but fortunately, Azrael killed it with one shot. In reality, they were playing a video simulation game and hadn't heard Brody's announcement. They were about to face another monster, but Jason appeared first and defeated them. Jason attacked the two with his machete, but was confused when he saw them still talking even after their heads were cut off. Suddenly, Dallas said, "Game over," and the simulation disappeared, revealing the killer was real. Jason grabbed Azrael, and Sarge shot at him to make him let go of her friend, but the bullets had no effect. Azrael tried to jump on Jason from behind, but Jason easily caught him, broke his spine, and threw him to the ground. He then grabbed Dallas and smashed his face against the wall. Moments later, two soldiers found the bodies in the game room and warned the others, who were very worried. Meanwhile, Engineer Crutch was working at his desk with headphones on, not noticing anything. Suddenly, he saw Jason approaching in the mirror. Before he could react, Brody and his soldiers appeared, ordered him to duck, and fired dozens of rounds at Jason, destroying half the room in the process. When the shooting stopped, they discovered Jason had disappeared. After Crutch went to Lab 1, the soldiers split up to search for Jason, thinking he must be seriously injured, but this allowed Jason to continue killing quietly. First, he grabbed a soldier from behind and broke his neck in a dark corner. Then he found another soldier alone and attacked him with the machete. The fight began, and the soldier managed to land a few punches, but Jason struck him and threw him over the railing, causing him to land on some equipment that impaled him to death. The others found the body and reported to Brody, who ordered the team to continue the mission. After that, Jason came from behind and slit her throat, but she didn't die immediately. She staggered toward a colleague to ask for help, but in the end, she collapsed dead. Jason appeared and the soldier immediately fired at him. The bullets pushed Jason back until he got hooked on a meat hook. The soldier then pressed a button to hang Jason in the air and told the others over the radio that he'd won. But Jason simply jumped off the hook, killed him, and cut his body in half. Brody went looking for them and found the last soldier hanging dead on the hook, realizing now that he was completely alone and refusing to surrender. Brody continued to move stealthily through the corridors, and suddenly Jason's arm broke through the wall, grabbed him violently, and shoved him onto the structure to impale him. Defiantly, Brody said that wasn't enough, so Jason stabbed him again to make sure he was dead. In Lab 1, the group realized they no longer had any protection. Lowe called the pilot and ordered him to use hyperspace to reach Solaris Port quickly. The ship did move, but Jason appeared behind the pilot and killed him too, causing the ship to lose control and crash directly into Solaris, destroying several buildings and causing multiple explosions that destroyed the ship's systems and the entire structure. Even though it hit the buildings, the ship kept flying and left Solaris Port. Lowe considered trying to pilot again, but saw from the window that the port was exploding. At that moment, all the students were worried, so Lowe told them to wait for another ship because he had activated the emergency signal. Just then, someone started banging on the door. The screams of terror made the banging stop, and as they tried to figure out what was happening, Jason burst through the glass wall leading to the other lab. The group panicked and began to run and hid in another room. Lowe stayed behind and tried to talk to Jason, offering him fame and money. Jason found his original machete and immediately silenced Lowe. At that point, the group discussed their options and remembered the escape pod, deciding to split up to carry out the plan. Rowan, Janessa, and Kinsa went to the ship to prepare it, and Wayland and Crutch began the pre-launch process from the bridge, needing to remove the pilot's body and clean the control panel. Meanwhile, KM and Sunan started gathering important parts for modifications. After a few minutes, Rowan saw another body that looked alive and asked Janessa and Kinsa to go ahead while she checked it. Rowan cautiously circled around the metal pole on the wall and reached the body, only to discover it was Brody, who was badly injured. She asked him to hold on and promised to come back for him. On the ship, Rowan asked for help to carry Brody's body, and Wayland called Crutch to confirm the ship was ready and asked for support for Rowan and for him to join her. But when they looked for Brody's body, they couldn't find it. At the same time, Crutch panicked when he saw the pilot's head being held by Jason and managed to warn the others over the radio before Jason pushed him onto the electrical panel and electrocuted him to death. When she heard this, Kinsa panicked and locked the ship's door. Rowan, Kinsa, and Wayland begged her to open it, but instead, Kinsa launched the ship early, causing it to crash into the main ship, killing Kinsa and causing more damage to the structure. The three tried to figure out what to do next, but Jason appeared and cornered them. Before he could attack, Sunaran arrived just in time to show off the upgrades made to KM-14, who was now armed and ready to fight. Jason immediately threw his machete at her, causing her to fall to her knees in pain. Jason then approached to finish her off, but KM-14 was faking and quickly opened fire, blasting him back. She jumped high and continued shooting, exchanging shots with a few kicks. After fighting Jason for a few minutes, KM-14 performed some amazing acrobatics and got ready to strike his head, but Jason hit her and threw her far away. Just as he was about to kill her, Brody appeared from behind and distracted Jason long enough for KM-14 to recover. With another weapon, she shot and cut off Jason's arm as she broke through the wall, allowing her to kick him into Lab 1. The second shot caused Jason to fall into the healing machine. The fall caused a small explosion before KM-14 hit Jason on the head to finish him off, and as a final touch, she threw the machete into his body again, thinking it was over. The group gathered and took Brody to another room to treat him. Brody had recovered about 80% when suddenly the ship started shaking. Wayland realized the hatch was badly damaged, and just then they received a call from another ship that had picked up the distress signal and would arrive in 45 minutes. Unfortunately, the ship they were on would explode in less than 30 minutes. That's when an argument started about what to do next. While monitoring the ship's map, Rowan realized there was an undamaged area that could be separated from the rest. As the group moved to execute the plan, the machine in Lab 1 automatically activated and began to heal Jason, now forming a very strong metal body. At that time, the group planted bombs in the corridors to separate the damaged area from the intact part, and they managed to do it in a few seconds. But when they finished, they found their path blocked by Jason. KM-14 opened fire, but all the bullets bounced off Jason's body. She then tried to attack him physically, but Jason quickly cut off her head. Sunan ran to grab her head, and Rowan created a shield, prompting Jason to start choking her. Wayland joined the fight, and while Jason was busy, the others managed to escape to the safe area. Once everyone was safe, Wayland activated the bombs. The ship successfully split into 2 sections, but he died in the process, and Jason was thrown out by the shockwave. A little later, the rescue ship approached, but Jason suddenly appeared and punched a hole from outside. The hole began to suck everything out, and everyone tried to hold on. Unfortunately, Janessa chose to grab a nearby net, but it gave way. Rowan tried to reach her, and their fingers nearly touched before Janessa was sucked out and died. After that, Rowan, Brody, Tsunaran, and KM-14's head reached another room and locked the door. Through the window, they saw Jason punching through the wall again, trying to get into the ship. Finally, they reached the docking point just as the rescue ship made contact with the main ship. But the corridor didn't work, and Sunan couldn't bypass the system. Brody decided to go out and manually bypass the cables, so he put on his spacesuit and exited through the maintenance hatch. While Brody worked on the control panel, Tsunaran and Rowan heard Jason breaking down doors and getting closer. To buy time, Tsunaran connected KM-14's head to the computer and activated a video simulation game around Jason using a database from Earth to replicate his hometown. At first, Jason was confused, but soon believed he'd discovered another distraction. 2 people offering him drinks, drugs, and very tempting offers. But Jason hated all of that, and when the 2 were in their sleeping bags, Jason grabbed one and started beating the other with her body. At that moment, Brody finally managed to restart the system and the passage opened, but by tampering with the cables, it caused an explosion in the room and ended the simulation. As soon as Jason approached, Rowan and Tsunaran ran to the rescue ship, but Tsunaran realized they had forgotten KM-14. Rowan went back for her and ran to the bridge, seeing Jason getting closer. The killer tried to follow her, but Brody appeared and closed the passage. The rescue ship couldn't wait any longer and took off, while Brody faced Jason directly. Part of the ship exploded, and the shockwave threw Jason towards the rescue ship. Luckily, Brody also launched in the same direction and pushed Jason away. After that, Brody used Jason as a shield, and both of them fell together into the Earth's atmosphere and burned up completely. Rowan, Tsunaran, and KM-14 finally relaxed and were happy that it was all over. On Earth, 2 kids saw a meteor fall into a lake and decided to go check it out. That meteor was actually just Jason's head, which might still be alive to this day. And here our story ends for today. Stay tuned for new videos and summaries. Goodbye.